What is happening, you wonderful people? So I just got done watching Predator Killer of Killers, and in this film, a Viking raider, a ninja in feudal Japan, and a World War II pilot encounter a fierce intergalactic hunter. And that's all I can say without giving too much away. Let's talk about it. So when it comes to the Predator franchise, I am a fan of the franchise. I'm more of an Alien fan because I know those universes, those franchises are like in the same universe, in the same vein in a way. I do love the Predator franchise, but still more of an Alien fan. But when it comes to the Predator franchise, I love the original. I love the one with Adrian Brody, Predators. I really enjoyed this one. I really thought Prey was okay. I'm kind of in the minority on that one. I know majority of people really did enjoy it. I need to watch it again, especially after watching this one. Predator 2, I'm going to watch eventually, just never got around to watching it. I haven't seen it before. And then The Predator with Holbrook and Keegan-Michael Key. Heard bad things about it, obviously. But I have not seen it. I'm going to watch it eventually because, you know, the whole universe and timeline, you need to watch everything. And the AVP films, seen the first AVP. It's okay. Started watching Requiem a while back. I'm never going to finish it. It was awful from what I saw. So when it comes to this film, and we have Predator Badlands this year, which I'm very excited for. Very excited for that film. And then Prey 2 is in a few years from now, which I'm excited for that too. When it comes to this film, though, when I had heard that Dan Trachtenberg was making a secret Predator film, and then we all heard that it was going to be an animated anthology film, I was like, oh, that's cool. So he's putting his own spin and twist on the Predator franchise, making it animated. I really like that. And he's putting his own twist and spin on it being an anthology series with samurais, Vikings, and World War II. So now after seeing this film, it's good. It's good. Starting off with the positives, I want to talk about my positives first, and then I'll talk about my negatives because I have some negatives, but so far the positives outweigh the negatives for me. I really, really like how this film, the world that we're introduced to in this film, it feels very, very rich, and it feels very lived in, and that's what that's what you need to have with animated films. And I feel like you need to have that with animated films that are in the same universe, in the same vein as live action projects, hence the Predator franchise and hence the, you know, Marvel and DC and all that. And like you notice how lived in and rich it feels when like our first story, because the first story we're introduced to, the first characters that we're introduced to in this movie is the Vikings. And then we have feudal Japan. And then we have World War II. In our first story, the first story we're introduced to in with our Vikings, right? You see, like, when they're in the snow and the cold, you see their breath. And you see just how lived in it just feels. And I absolutely love that so much. And it's very unique. It's a very unique Predator film, and it's a very nuanced Predator film it's very unique and nuanced from all the other Predator films that we've seen and the ones we have, you know, and I do think it's better than Prey, in my opinion. I do think it's better than Prey. And there was some really good action in this film, and the sound design is so good. The sound design in this film is so good. And there's not much dialogue in the film, but it starts to kind of ramp up. And you're like, oh, there's not much dialogue in this film. That's okay, though. I understand what they're going for. And then you start to get more dialogue. And even when the dialogue is there, it's great. It's good. And it's pretty engaging for the most part. And I feel like in this film, it's very character driven. It's very character driven, and I really like that. I love that they focused on that, and I thought the animation was very unique, very good animation, very unique. It was good for the most part, I thought, and good character development. There was some good character development in this film, and the score reminded me of the OG film. It did, and I really really dug that in the film. I did, and it gets better once we are introduced to the second story, feudal Japan, and then once it hits the third story with World War II, and then technically our fourth story with what happens, it gets better. It gets better, and the tone is consistent. It's tonally consistent. I enjoyed that. I thought that was good, and the animation looks like an acrylic painting come to life, and it's very vibrant and colorful, and I really like that about the film. And I thought the voice acting was really good. There was good voice acting, and again, it's pretty engaging for the most part. Not much dialogue, like I mentioned. Good action, mentioned that earlier. Mentioned this, but it's unique and nuanced from other films in the franchise as a whole. And the Predator truly, in a way, sort of felt like the main character. But like it felt like the Predator felt like the main character watching all of these stories unfold, right? It felt like he was just watching the story unfold, and then you'll see more of the Predator towards the end of the film. Like when you get to the end of the film, you'll understand. You'll be like, oh, okay, so that's why that happened, and that. Okay, that makes more sense. And it really worked for me. It really worked for me. It did. If I had to touch on my negatives, though, I will say that while I did enjoy this movie as a whole, while I did enjoy it overall, I do have some qualms. And there's not a lot of qualms, but I do have, some. I do think that while I did enjoy the animation and while I did think it was very unique, it did feel a little choppy at times. Mainly at the very beginning of the film, and then it got better and better and better, but it did feel a little choppy. And that may just be me, but it just kind of felt that way. And I do think that at first, all three of the stories that we're introduced to, right? I was not sure at first how they connected, but then once the film goes and once it gets to the end, you'll understand how it connects, and you start to see that connectivity really at the beginning of the film. And I'm like, I see what they're doing. Okay, was kind of confused at first. I was like, I don't see the correlation. But now I'm starting to see it. And at times, it really kind of felt like just an anthology movie. At times, it didn't really feel like a Predator anthology film, if that makes sense. And it felt at times like the Predator was kind of just there. He's just kind of there. And the characters at times weren't super interesting. And at times it felt like there wasn't much Predator. And all three of the stories felt kind of the same, rinse and repeat, right? Cookie cutter, but and at times it takes a little bit to get going. But you have to understand, with all of those negatives I just named, they all kind of just dissipate and disappear, because those negatives, once the story at the end really brings all these three stories together and ties it in a nice little neat bow, those negatives dissipate, because you see where the story goes and you see how it's connected, so it all just makes sense in the end. So those negatives really go away. They just technically go away. And that's a good thing, because this film is pretty good. So yeah, overall, with Predator Killer of Killers, I really enjoyed myself for the most part. I did. As a Predator fan, as someone who has not seen all of the films in the franchise, but as someone who is going to watch Predator 2 eventually, and The Predator soon, and as someone who loves the original, as someone who really enjoyed this film, as someone who thought Prey was okay, and as someone who's going to watch that eventually again, and as someone who really enjoys Predators with Adrian Brody, I really think this is a good entry in the franchise. And I think if you're a big Predator fan, you're really going to enjoy this film. So with Predator Killer of Killers, I am going to give this film a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And with Predator Killer of Killers, I'll say dedicate your time. Dedicate your time. It's a fun entry into the Predator franchise, and it's a film that you won't be bored while watching. You'll just be really engaged throughout the whole thing. So that'll wrap up this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, share this video. We are at 949 subs. Next week milestone is 1K, reaching that quickly, and 2K is the next one, and beyond that as well. And if you're new as well, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, trailer reactions, movie live streams, movie news, movie rankings, all that wonderful movie stuff under the movie umbrella. And let's talk about in the comments down below. Did you like Predator Killer of Killers? Did y'all not like it? Or are y'all kind of done with the Predator franchise? Or are y'all wanting more films? Let's talk about it down below. Keep talking movies, wonderful people. Cheers.